الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين أما بعد. فقال سبحانه وتعالى بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وما أرسلناك إلا رحمة للعالمين. Subhanallah, we look at this beautiful ayah from the Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He told the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam that we did not send you except as a mercy, a rahmah for the alameen. If we look at this ayah, we find the sharaf and Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the honor that was given to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that he wasn't just sent as a rahmah to even al-ins, to insan, but to all of alameen. And we look at the honor that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that just seeing the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam would make somebody who was a believer, as long as you were a Muslim, into the best of mankind, the Sahaba, after the Anbiya, the best of mankind. Think about this. The Sahaba, radiallahu anhum, if they only saw the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the sharaf, the honor of seeing the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam make them Sahaba. Otherwise, they were Muslims. They were at the same time as the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Like Uwais al-Qarni, who was alive at the same time as the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but just because he didn't get to see the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he's not a Sahaba. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he told us in the hadith that is muttafaqun alayh, reported by Al-Bukhari and Muslim, khairun nas qarni. The best of mankind is my generation. ثم الذين يلونهم ثم الذين يلونهم. يعني then those that came after them and then those that came after them. So best of mankind after the Anbiya is the generation of the Sahaba. And what made the Sahaba? The seeing of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in a state of iman. But this rahmah was not just for the Sahaba or men, even amongst the Malaika. When we learn about the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, we need to know who our Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is. In the hadith reported in Sahih Bukhari, يعني ما من الضعيف, it's not Sahih hadith. Jibreel alayhi salam, he came to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and he asked him, ما تعدون أهل البدر فيكم? يعني what do you guys think about the status of the people of Badr, the Sahaba of Badr amongst you? فقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أفضل المسلمين, they are the best of the Muslims. فقال جبريل عليه السلام فكذلك من شهد البدر من الملائكة. سبحان الله. Who are the best of Malaika? Those who were present at Badr alongside the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So seeing the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it honored a man who was a Muslim, again not for a kafir or a mushrik, but for a Muslim, by making him a Sahabi, making him the best of the people, and being with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, seeing the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, supporting the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, even raise the ranks of the Malaika to make them the best of Malaika. This is our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam whose seerah we are studying. And I wanted to mention this so we can develop a love for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, a love for learning about the seerah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. From the lineage of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, from the generation that brought to us our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we started with Adam and Hawa alayhim as-salam, and then we went through up to Noah and his children, and now, and this is not to give you a tariq of insan, but just what is related to the life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now we get to the father of our Prophet and the father of every Prophet that came after him, Ibrahim alayhi salam, the Khalil of Allah, Ibrahim alayhi salam. We learn about Ibrahim alayhi salam, and when you learn about the life of Ibrahim alayhi salam, you realize we see a translation of friend. It's a very weak translation, a very light translation. Unfortunately, the English language is lacking. Unlike Arabic, where we have a lot of words for friend, the English language is lacking for a proper word for Khalil. But inshallah, I will mention a few of the things that will give us an understanding of what Al-Khalil means. First thing, about Ibrahim alayhi salam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala called him his Khalil in the Quran. And the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said about himself that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taken me as a Khalil as he took Ibrahim as a Khalil. He said to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam that Allah has taken me as a Khalil as he took Ibrahim as a Khalil. This hadith is Sahih Bukhari and Muslim. Some of the ulama, they mentioned that Ibrahim was Kalimullah. And Musa was Kalimullah. And Ibrahim was Khalilullah. And the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is Habibullah. But this is based on a weak narration. This narration is a da'if narration. Where they said the Sahaba were sitting and one of them said that Musa was Kalimullah and one said Ibrahim was Khalilullah and the Prophet said I am Habibullah. It is a weak narration. What we find in Bukhari and Muslim is the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said that Allah has taken me as a Khalil as Allah took Ibrahim as a Khalil. So the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he is also Khalilullah. If we talk about Khalil and Habib, ما هو الفرق بين الخليل والحبيب؟ وقال الملا القاري الحنفي العالم المشهور في مرقات المفاتيح شرح المشكاة وقالوا اعلم ان الفرق بين الخليل والحبيب ان خليل من خلة يعني من الحاف. عجيب. وقال الخليل اقرب من المحمود او من الحبيب الى الناس. وقال القاضي العياد المالكي وقال الخليل من خلة. طيب. So we talk about Khalil and Habib. When we talk about Khalil and Habib, which one is closer? The great scholar Mullah al-Qari al-Hanafi in his Sharh al-Mishkat, he says no, that the difference between Khalil and Habib is that Khalil comes from a root word meaning to have a need for something. And I'll discuss the root word in a minute. Yani, when you love somebody so much, when you are so close to somebody that you need them, you feel like you are not complete without them. This is one of the root words that shows a greatness of Khalil over Habib. That Khalil is closer than Habib. Qadi al-Ayyad, the famous Maliki alim, he gave a different root word. In his mind, he said it's a different root word, which is khilla. And he said this means of something that is a favorite, something that you choose as the best. And also one of the meanings of somebody who's dedicated in worship. Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen, rahmatullah alayhi, he mentioned that Khalil is more perfect in love than Habib. And he said that this is the closest that you can be to somebody to be the Khalil, more than the Habib. Ibn Taymiyyah, rahmatullah alayhi, he mentioned something amazing. He says that Khalil is when somebody is on the same methodology as somebody else. Habib can be somebody who you love, but you don't even know anything about. Think about this. Sometimes, the shaitan, he puts waswasa in our ears. And you see somebody, a woman or a man or a movie actor or somebody, and you don't even know them, but you love them. Yeah, I love this person. Sometimes you speak to somebody about a sports star. I love Michael Jordan, whatever. I love this actor, I love this actress. You don't even know them. If you actually live with them, maybe you hate them. But you say he's my Habib. But you cannot call him your Khalil. SubhanAllah. You can call that person Habib but not Khalil. Because Ibn Taymiyyah said, rahmatullah alayhi, that Khalil is when somebody is in the same methodology as you. Ibn al-Qayyim al-Jawziyah, another amazing scholar from the scholars of Islam, he talked about Khalil. He said, Al-Khalil أقرب من الحبيب. وعلى يعني الوزن فعيل ولكن أقرب الخليل. He said they're both on the wazn of فعيل يعني said Al-Khalil is closer than Habib. Why? He said because Khalil, like he mentioned he said it has a haja. And he says, why was Ibrahim alayhi salam called Khalilullah? Because Ibrahim alayhi salam put all of his hajat on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He put all of his dependence on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He didn't have a haja from anybody else. He didn't want anything from his father, from his community, from the Muslims, from anybody else. All his needs were with Allah, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took him as a Khalil. Ibn al-Qayyim al-Jawziyah, he says that when you talk about Al-Khalil, Al-Khalil is somebody whom you grow to love after trials and tribulations. I mean, you can see somebody and you can call them Habib. I love this person a lot. But you cannot just see somebody and say, this is my Khalil. Because the true love develops over time. There is lust, there is luster, there is infatuation, there is where you just see something and you like it, but then true love is not that. Ibn al-Qayyim al-Jawziyah says Khalil is when somebody gets tested through hardships and through time and they're patient and you develop that true love. And that's why Ibrahim alayhi salam was Khalilullah and the Prophet Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was Khalilullah because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tested them through very hard tests. And because they passed those tests with tawakkul and love for Allah, they became the Khalil of Allah. Why was Ibrahim alayhi salam called Khalilullah? Let's discuss in brief the life of Ibrahim alayhi salam. فقال سبحانه وتعالى إن إبراهيم كان أمة. Subhanallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, He called Ibrahim alayhi salam the verily Ibrahim is an ummah. Ummah is usually used for a nation. The Mufassirin of Quran has given many meanings here. One of them, that Ibrahim alayhi salam by himself was like an entire nation. And I'll explain why. And another meaning is that he was a leader. Ummah here meaning he was a leader. He would lead the way in khair, never having to follow anybody. Because many of us, we need people to be with us to do something good. Like if I say to us, think about this today. Think about what I'm saying. If I tell one of you, let's go to the White House and go tell Obama, don't send drones and kill innocent people anymore. Just me saying this, and that half of you is scared right now. And the other half, when I say this, you will say, are you crazy? It's just me and you, we're two people, nobody's going to listen to you. We're going to get arrested, we're going to get detained, we're going to get this, we'll get on the no-fly, and everybody will be scared. Right? What you would say? First, first, we need to gather 100,000 Muslims. Or we're going to get some non-Muslims with us. We need to get more people, we need to get organizations, we need to get countries, we need to develop this, we need to do that. And then when we have a lot, like if I said, we have 1 million Muslims ready to march, I'm ready, brother, let's go. We got 1 million people, I'm ready. You ready just with me now, brother, you're crazy. Right? But Ibrahim a.s. himself was an ummah. Himself, he was ready to take on every task by himself. I mean, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He gives some sifat of Ibrahim as well, shakiran. And I don't have time to go deep into the life of Ibrahim alayhi salam, but I want to point out a few things. So those of us sitting here that want to be beloved by Allah, that want to be friends of Allah, don't think, oh no way, like I said, nobody else can be a Khalil of Allah. Allah can take you as a Khalil, bring the sifat of being worthy of it. And Allah can take you as a wali, take you as a Habib, take you as a Khalil. But look at the qualities of Ibrahim alayhi salam, look at the qualities of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and look at yourself, and then see whether you think you're even worthy of it. And then change in yourself what you can to make yourself worthy. Ibrahim alayhi salam, one of the sifat of him that he made shukr all the time. Now when you look at the hardships he went through, you will wonder how can he be shakiran, a person in a state of thankfulness to these hardships. Ibrahim alayhi salam, the first thing I will mention about him, As it's mentioned in the Quran itself in many Sahih Hadith, that he stood up to his own father. He stood up to his own community. There were no Muslims around him. There was no support. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guided him at a young age. And his father, most of the Mufassirin, they have a deep discussion about his father in the beginning. Can anybody tell me what's his father's name? Al-Qurtubi, Al-Tabari, and Ibn Kathir said. But معروف مع علماء التاريخ والنسبيين يعني علماء النسب اسمه طارق بدون الخلاف إجماعا. سبحان الله. I know that has become very. So now, you have a very, this is why I want this lesson to open your mind. Right? What did the ulama, they said, as many of the Mufassirin have mentioned, that without khilaf, without any disagreement, according to the ulama of Tariq and the ulama of Nasb, of knowing the generations, the name of Ibrahim's father was Tariq. Some of the Ahlul Kitab, they even said Tariq bil Kha. Right? Now, a khilaf comes because in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala called him Azar. In some of the Quran, with Hamza, Azar. وبعض القراءات إزر من كسرة الألف بالحمزة إزر. Now we find this in the Quran, and we find from even Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma, the great Sahabi, the name Tariq. So what is the answer for this? فقال ابن كثير والقرطبي والسواب إن اسمه آزر وله اسمان أحدهما لقب والآخر العلم. So this is something Ibn Kathir says, that the father of Ibrahim he had two names. One was a laqab, one was a title, one was a name. According to some of the ulama, Azar was actually the name of the idol that they used to worship, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him this name as tawbih, as to make fun of him, like Abu Lahab, as a title, not as his actual name. Many of the other ulama, they said no, Tariq was actually the title and his name was Azar. Al-Qurtubi and others have come to the conclusion that Tariq is one of his names and his other name is Azar. Like Israel and Yaqub. They're both the name of the same person. Many of the people of the past, they would have multiple names. One person would have more than one name. Because we find Ibn Abbas and the ulama of Nasb have come to an ijma' on one thing, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala called them something else in the Quran. But if there is no khilaf, then we don't need to make a khilaf. We don't need to have rajih tarjih when there is no khilaf. The answer is that both are his names. One is a laqab and one is his actual name. About the father of Ibrahim alayhi salam, he was very close to Namrud. To the king Namrud, he was very close to him. And he was the one who used to make the statues and take care of the statues. So he was from the ulama of shirk. Like among the mushrikeen, he was from the greatest of them. Here, when Ibrahim alayhi salam stood up to his father and to his community, this was a very difficult test. Those of us who are involved in da'wah, you will know that the hardest da'wah is in the house. And the hardest thing is to stand up to your own father. And those of you here who have pious fathers, who have religious fathers, who help you, who support you in your da'wah, thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because when you have a father who is a mushrik, who is a kafir, it's a very difficult test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Ibrahim alayhi salam, the first thing he did is he stood up to his own father. And then he stood up to his own society. The whole community was kafir except him. Imagine you are the only Muslim and the whole community is kafir. And he didn't just stand up to them, but he enjoined Amr bin Ma'ruf and Nahy al-Munkar min al-Yad with his hand. As a Ma'ruf story, and I'm not going to get into detail about it, but as you all know about him breaking the big statue, and they had 72 statues. As Ibn Abbas mentioned, they had 72 ilah, they had gods. and he broke them. So not only was he alone, but he still wasn't afraid. He took a step that was a very daring step. And when he was taken to Namrud, who is Namrud? Subhanallah. Do you know that there are 4 people who have ruled the entire world? Only 4 people. Who can name them?
Zulqarnain,
Namrud, Sulaiman, Bukhtanasar is one of the people of Israel. The proof for this is from Mujahid. It has been reported by Ibn Jawzi on the authority of Ibn Abbas from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, but that hadith is da'if. There's also the report from Ibn Jarir al-Tabari from Mujahid, but that hadith also has da'if. Ibn Taymiyyah rahmatullahi alayhi strengthened another narration from Mujahid. Ibn Kathir in Bidayah wa Nihaya, he has mentioned this from Sufyan al-Thawri, also the weak narration. Suyuti, another narration from Al-Mujahid. Now, in the takhrij of this, we found the narration from Al-Mujahid, the Tabi'i. When you put them together, they become Hasan li-ghayrihi, authenticated. And Ibn Taymiyyah said, قَدْ صَحَ, يعني authenticated it from Mujahid. قال لم يملك الأرض كلها إلا 4 المسلمان والكافران وفي رواية المؤمنان والكافران فأما المسلمان هو فسليمان لداود عليه السلام وذو القرنين وأما الكافران فالبختنصر والذي حاج إبراهيم يعني النمرود في ربه. And this narration, as I said, has been authenticated to show from Mujahid, the great Tabi'i, Mufassir of Quran, that 4 people ruled the world. 2 of them Muslim and 2 of them Kafir. 2 of them Muslim, 2 of them Kafir. For the 2 Muslims, it was Sulaiman bin Dawood, alayhi salam, the Prophet of Allah, and Dhul Qarnayn, the famous wali, and according to many of the ulama, also a Nabi, but strongest aqwal show that he was a wali of Allah. For the 2 Kafir, Bukhtanasar, he is a man from Bani Israel. We will discuss him inshallah later. And there is the one Haja, yani the one who debated with Ibrahim, fi Rabbihi, yani Namrud. Namrud, he was the one that ruled the entire world. And after Ibrahim alayhi salam, he broke those statues, he was taken to Namrud. And Namrud had a debate with him. And this is the Quran, where he told him, what are you calling towards? Ibrahim alayhi salam, he said, I'm calling towards my Rabb, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Namrud said, I am the Rabb. Ibrahim told him that Allah is the one that gives life and gives death. Namrud, he wanted to trick here the kuffar because they are upon zahir, only upon what they can see. So he did a trick. He told them, I give life and death. He called for 2 prisoners, killed one of them and freed the other. SubhanAllah, what a weak understanding he had of life and death. But there is a great point. As the man who used to sit here before me had pointed out in his lectures, he said, look at the hikmah of da'wah of Ibrahim alayhi salam. He didn't go down that path of saying, no, that's not what I meant. What I meant was, no. Instead, Ibrahim alayhi salam gave him an answer he couldn't answer. He told him, okay, my Rabb, he brings the sun from the east, he sets it in the west, you raise it from the west. Go ahead. The kafir, he became quiet. He couldn't answer. He ended the debate. Look at Ibrahim alayhi salam in his quality. But what I want to point out is, think about this. Ibrahim alayhi salam is how many? One Muslim on the face of the earth at that time. Who is Namrud? The king of the whole world. The king of the whole world. And he is against him himself. And he gives him such a clear answer. Today if I stand in front of Obama, who's not even the king of anything, you'll be well, don't ask, won't tell, let's be modern, sometimes it's okay, yeah. Where's my suit? We set out so quick, so weak. We get pulled over on a plane, you're getting on a plane, the 20 seconds. But Ibrahim alayhi salam was shuja', he was brave. He was alone, but he's a whole ummah by himself. Because even in front of the king of the whole world, he spoke so clearly and refuted him so clearly that and he was silenced. When Ibrahim alayhi salam silenced him and broke the statue, today if I tell you let's go break some statues, you're like, that's illegal. Come on, it's crazy. When he did this, Namrud, he decided to punish Ibrahim alayhi salam. And some of the Tabi'een and others, they have mentioned that he didn't just want to kill Ibrahim alayhi salam, but he wanted to make an example out of him. You know, today, when they want to make an example out of somebody, they do some bad stuff, torture and waterboarding and this and that. But think about Ibrahim alayhi salam. They said, you know, we're not going to just cut his head or stab him or kill him. We're going to kill him in such a way that nobody will talk about Tawheed again. Nobody will talk about the oneness of Allah and get rid of shirk. So they decided that they were going to build a fire. And there are many narrations about how big the fire and how much was collected and how long it took. We don't have time to get into those details. But they built a huge fire, a fire that, as mentioned in the authentic Hadith, they couldn't come close to throw him in. So they made a catapult. They made a catapult and put Ibrahim alayhi salam in the catapult and threw him in. And while he was being thrown in, and this is why takhrij and understanding what are the authentic from the weak narrations is very important. We used to always hear that Jibreel alayhi salam, he came to Ibrahim alayhi salam during this time and said, أَلَكَ حَاجَةً فَقَالَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ عَلَيْهِ السَّلَامُ أَمَّا إِلَيْكَ فَلَا. Yani, he was asked that, do you have a haja? Do you have any need? Can I help you, Jibreel alayhi salam? And Ibrahim alayhi salam told him, if it's from you, then I have no need from you because you are makhluq and I am makhluq. This hadith is غير صحيح. This is not authentic, it is not established. I know many of us heard it and quoted it, and brothers in their bayans and 6 points and this and that quoted, but this hadith is not established. I did a lot of research on this. Even Ibn Kathir and others said غير صحيح ومن الإسرائيليات ليس فيها الدليل من السنة. This from the Israeliyat, it is not. In fact, it goes against what we know from Sahih al-Bukhari, that what Jibreel alayhi salam said and that what Ibrahim alayhi salam said when he was being catapulted was حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل. حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل. This is what Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said when they told him the people have gathered to kill you. And he said, it's from Sahih al-Bukhari, hadith number 4563, he said, this is what Ibrahim said when they threw him in the fire. You look at the tawakkul of Ibrahim alayhi salam. He didn't say, okay, now it's time of darura, I'm being thrown in the fire to protect my life, I'm going to tell Namrud, it's okay, I'm sorry. No, he was a different breed. This is why he was the Khalil of Allah. He said, Hasbunallah, Allah is enough for me. And He is the best disposer of affairs. I don't need anybody. I don't need my people to protect me. I don't need to lie. I don't need to do anything. I know that Allah will protect me. And he was thrown into the fire. How long was Ibrahim alayhi salam in the fire? Anybody? Seerah of Prophet. How much? Fadal. 1 month? Inshallah. Anybody? Any khilaf on this? 30 minutes, mashallah, this is a new madhab started. Anybody else any other opinions or 1 month has it? 40. We always heard 40. We always heard 40. فقال ابن جريج فقال الكعب فما ندري هل هو فيه 40 أو 50 أو أكثر أو أقل. So what we know from a company who has narrated from many people that it could have been 40 or 50 days and nights or more or less, we don't know. فقال ابن كثير والله أعلم بمقدار ذلك. يعني Ibn Kathir says Allah knows best how long it was. 40, 50 months, these have been narrating, but there is no clear proof of how long it was. Ibn Kathir says والله أعلم بمقدار يعني المقدار الزمن في النار لإبراهيم عليه السلام. لكن نعرف بالحديث الصحيح قال إبراهيم عليه السلام يعني هذا أفضل الأيام في حياته. سبحان الله. This is what we do know authentically that Ibrahim alayhi salam said these were the best days of my life. And what we know is that he was making salah and making azkar. وقال فيه الرواية في بداية والنهاية من ابن كثير فقال ما كنت أيام أو ليال أطيب في حياتي. يعني it is there for Ibrahim alayhi salam that he said that there were no days and nights that were more beautiful, more pure, more beloved to me than those days and nights. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He made the nar cool on Ibrahim alayhi salam. But look at this ayah of Quran. فقال سبحانه وتعالى قلنا يا نار كونوا بردا وسلاما على إبراهيم. سبحان الله برد ولكن ما البرد سلام لأن في برد يعني هرج. سبحان الله. Ibn Kathir and Al-Qurtubi and others have mentioned a beautiful tafsir of the ayah where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered the fire to be cool but also be a peace for Ibrahim. Think about this ayah. There's a few things you should think about. One, that if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only said be cold on Ibrahim, then cold can also harm you. You know, there's extreme cold. Those of you who live on the East Coast, you know, at Buffalo, New York, you know, cold can be a mean, bad thing. But here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't just make the fire cool, but it also made it as a peace, as a wonderful blessing for Ibrahim alayhi salam. A second point of tafsir, and I'm mentioning some very beautiful but few points from many benefits I could mention. He said, على إبراهيم. فقالت العلماء إذا لم يقل سبحانه وتعالى على إبراهيم كان النار في كل العالم ضاع. Subhanallah. If Allah didn't say here to the fire, be cool and peaceful on Ibrahim, if Allah left out على Ibrahim, all of the fire of the entire universe would have become cool under the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Look at the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. With a single order, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could have made all of the fire in the entire world that He couldn't burn it. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it only for Ibrahim alayhi salam, and that's how we can cook and use the fire today. Subhanallah, as Ibn Kathir and Al-Tabari in his Tariq and others have mentioned after, that the only thing, ما أحرقت النار من إبراهيم شيئا غير الواثقه. يعني the rope that he was, the only thing the fire burned was the rope that he was tied with. The fire, it burned off the ropes, but left Ibrahim alayhi salam perfectly fine. Ibrahim alayhi salam, he came out of the fire in front of the people. A miracle from Allah. A man who's thrown into such a fire and walks out in front of everybody unharmed except the ropes are burned, and nobody became Muslim. Subhanallah. This tells you hidayah from Allah. You know, at my work, sometimes I have debates with atheists. And they tell me, if there is Allah, tell Him to show us a sign in the sky. Well, let it say Allah in the sky, then I'll believe. But you know, these are false claims. Because the Prophet ﷺ, he split the moon. Ibrahim a.s., he came out of the fire. Musa a.s. split the ocean. Isa a.s. cured the dead. Raised them. But the people who have kufr will still not believe. They will make an excuse. No, there was an eclipse and it seemed like this, and you know, the fire, maybe the inside was like this, and he had a jacket on and he threw it off. Because if Allah doesn't guide somebody, if they don't have that love for hidayah, then even clear miracles will not guide them. Ibrahim a.s., he continued to work on his people, and nobody from his people became Muslim except for Lut, who is his nephew, and his cousin Sarah. Sarah alayhi salam, he married her, she was a cousin of Ibrahim alayhi salam, and from this relation, the nephew of Ibrahim alayhi salam, Lut, became Muslim. And Ibrahim alayhi salam, when he saw that his people, even after seeing the miracles of Allah, would not become Muslim, he made hijrah. He left. He left. And this is the life of Ibrahim alayhi salam, da'wah and hijrah. The whole life of Ibrahim alayhi salam is dedicated to da'wah and hijrah. He never stayed in a place. Today, if we tell somebody, let's go for da'wah for a certain amount of time, or let's go to South America, or let's do this for da'wah, nobody's ready. But then we want to be the Khalil of Allah. The Khalil of Allah never stayed in one place, he's always on the move. Look at Ibrahim alayhi salam. He left Iraq and he went towards Sham. The Balad al-Sham, may Allah bring peace to it. The Balad al-Sham, he went there and he saw the people, as you know, they were worshipping stars, and he went out. And the correct opinion is that it wasn't that he was misguided, that he started actually worshipping, but out of hikmah, he told them, okay, which star should we worship? But what about when the sun comes? The sun comes, the moon is bigger than the stars and the sun. And he used this method of da'wah to show to them that stars and the moon and the sun are not worthy of worship, only Allah is worthy of worship. And he continued to make hijrah. From Sham, he went to Misr, the country of Egypt, Misr. May Allah bring peace in it as well. So in Misr, when he went there, there was a king. I'm telling you a very brief summary. The king, he had a rule. And Ajib, Ibn Kathir also mentioned in the Bidayah wa Nihaya, he had a strange rule. His rule was that if somebody is going through the land with their sisters or their mothers, he had no problem. But if somebody is travelers through the land with their wife, he would get upset. And he would forcefully imprison their wife. You can fill in the blanks past what he would do. So, he had a strange rule. And Ibrahim he had hikmah, he had wisdom, he had farasa. So he knew this. So when the people, they knew that Sarah was a very pious and beautiful woman, this news came to the king, he sent his people to arrest her. And when they came, Ibrahim he knew this was going to happen. So he didn't lie, but he made tawriya, which is, he would say something that the other person will take a different meaning. And in Sharia, at certain times, this is jais. For example, if somebody, in the time of Imam Ahmad, there was a dars. And there was a student in the dars who had friends that were foolish friends, people who would waste time. So when those friends came by, instead of coming in the dars, sitting and benefiting themselves, they wanted to take the student out. So they sent somebody to say, is this person there? Fulana, is he there? So Imam Ahmad, he turned, he said, he's not here. Meaning, he's not here, where I'm pointing at. Even though those people didn't understand, they understood that he's not in the gathering. And this is jais because he didn't lie, but he didn't want the student to go and waste the time with foolish people. So Ibrahim here, when they were asked, who is this? He said, she is my sister. And it is true, all Muslims are brothers and sisters. There are levels of sisters in Sharia. In books of fiqh we study. One is your sister, meaning your father and mother is the same. One is where your father is the same, but your mother is different, she's still your sister. One is your mother is the same, but your father is different, she's still your sister. One is further than the fifth level is, when somebody is just a Muslim woman in Islam, she's your sister. But you are permitted to marry that woman because she's not your blood sister. She is your sister in Islam. So Ibrahim said, she's my sister, meaning she's my sister in Islam, and he told the truth. But he wanted them to think from it as if it is his blood sister, because according to their rules, they would have left her. But the kuffar don't play by their own rule. They have the Geneva Convention. They have these rules. When it comes to Muslims, they work on our country, so we're not bound by it. You're bound by it, but we're not. They don't even play by their own rule. Today this is torture, tomorrow that's not torture. We're just playing a game. It was a little game. We're just playing water. It was a fun game. We thought they were enjoying it. And the day after, oh, that's torture. It's horrible. Oh, terrible. So the kuffar, they don't play by their own rules. But here, this king, even though he had this rule, he didn't play by the rules. He still right there. And they still took her. And subhanAllah, as we know from the authentic narrations, Ibrahim alayhi at this time, he stood up and started making tawaf. And started making dua. SubhanAllah, he turned immediately to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the Khalil of Allah. This is why his haja, the word Khalil from the word of having need, all his needs, he turned to Allah. He didn't try to get to his father, and he's a big man, and he has contacts, and he has power, and maybe somebody can intercede. He turned to Allah immediately. And Sarah alayhi salam, when this kafir king, he tried to reach out to harm her, she told him, let me make wudu and make tawaf. And she also turned to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. She didn't try to use, some kind of political connection and give in a little bit and say, it's darura. And this is a very important lesson for us. For us, may Allah protect us all, but if we get put in a situation where somebody is really going to harm you and dishonor you, is it allowed to commit suicide? No. Islam doesn't allow suicide under any situation. Even in that situation. If you're going to be harmed, you cannot commit suicide, because suicide is when you give up hope in Allah. And a mu'min can never give up hope in Allah. So the mu'min, Seerah alayhi salam, even though her honor is at stake, she didn't kill herself, she didn't do that. Instead, she turned to Allah, started to make dua, started to make salah. And how powerful is salah? How powerful is dua? That this king, every time he would reach out at her from her dua, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it that he would get a fit, he would fall into a fit. Where some of the narrations mention that he would start making a noise where he would be paralyzed like a person snoring. And he would try to tell her that I will leave you, I will not harm you, just finish this. And she realized that if he died, maybe they will have her executed for killing him. So she made dua to Allah, and this kafir became better, and he had made a deal with her, right? I will not harm you. Kuffar couldn't keep their word. Again he read that at her. Again she made dua. Second time he got paralyzed. He begged her. She made dua. He got better. And the third time he leaped out at her. SubhanAllah. And when it happened the third time, he realized that this is something powerful. But what is the way of the kuffar? Is when they see something good, they label it bad. You know? When this brother is doing something good, they label them bad. I won't get into the explanation. So, when he saw this woman who was so pious that Allah answered her dua, and he was such an evil man with evil intentions toward her, instead of saying that, look, this is the haqq, this is the truth, we should follow her, he said, you have brought me a shaitan. You have brought me a devil. And this is magic. Even though he was the shaitan. He was the shaitan, but he called her the shaitan. Sometimes people are terrorizing people, and then they call them anyway. So, you look at the power of good a'mal. And there are some aqeedah lessons we can take from this. Of tawassul bil a'mal salih. That when you are in a situation, Seerah alayhi salam, he made dua to Allah, oh Allah, I have protected myself. I have protected myself, except with my husband. I have never exposed myself to anybody. So don't let this kafir today harm my honor. She took this amal salih of having a woman of good hijab and protecting herself, and she used it as a means of getting her dua answered. So when you want to make tawassul, instead of saying, oh Allah, bless me because of this dead shaykh, don't do that. It's not proven. What you can say, Ya Allah, when I did this good action, if I did it for your sake, oh Allah, bless me today because of that action. Like the hadith of the three that were trapped in the cave, and the big rock had closed, you can make tawassul bil a'mal salih. She didn't say, oh Allah, because of your Prophet Adam, or because of this pious man, or because of that blessed. No. She made tawassul to her a'mal. Now, when he realized that she was somebody who was very powerful with her dua, and in his heart, many of the ulama, like Al-Zahabi, he writes that he realized in his heart that she was on the right path. But he was too ingrained in his evil to leave his evil. But to try to show some homage, what he did is he told her, I will give you a gift so that your dua doesn't harm us. Right? And what did he give her? He gave her Hajj. Hajj, alayhi salam, he was given. Most of us have read that she was a slave. But if you look at the authentic narrations in Tariq, as Al-Zahabi and others have mentioned, that most likely she was not a slave, but rather the daughter of the king himself. And this is something you can look up. From Al-Zahabi and others have mentioned that she was the daughter of that king. And that king, realizing that Seerah alayhi salam was a very pious and great woman, he gave his daughter to her so that she could be raised in a good way. Some of the ulama of Tariq said she was a slave that he gave, but this is a stronger opinion, wallahu a'lam. When Seerah alayhi salam, she came out, Ibrahim alayhi salam was in salah. He was in salah. And you look at the husband and wife, both of them, towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in salah. How did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect them? And he went with Hajar alayhi salam he stayed in Misr for a while and then he went back. Now, I want to mention something. I'm cutting this short, obviously. Ibrahim alayhi salam didn't have kids. And Sarah alayhi salam, she was a very pious wife, a good wife. We have seen her piety already and how Allah answered her dua. And she had left her people. She made hijrah with her husband. She left her house. She constantly was on the move. Imagine the hardship she went through. And at this time, she even told her husband, because Hajar was given as a gift to Sarah, not to Ibrahim. But she told her husband to take this woman as a wife. And what we know from the authentic narration that Ibrahim alayhi salam actually made Hajar alayhi salam, and from her he had Ismail. Now, when they went to Mecca, what we find in a lot of historic books, and what we find in a lot of the opinions of people, is that Sarah alayhi salam had a jealousy toward Hajar alayhi salam, and because of this reason, she told Ibrahim alayhi salam to take her. Personally, from my research on this issue, I don't find this to be established. This is not in the Quran. We don't find any sahih dalil that authentically shows that to be the reason. Yes, there could have been jealousy between them. They were human. It's a part of human nature. But this was not the reason why Ibrahim alayhi salam took her to Mecca. This is incorrect. For many reasons. I'll give you the line from the Quran to show why this is incorrect. First reason, how can a woman like Sarah, as pious as she was, who herself told Ibrahim alayhi salam to take him as a wife, then become jealous to such an extent to have her left in the desert to die? No. Secondly, how can a man of Adab and himself like Ibrahim alayhi salam take a woman and child and leave them in the desert to die just because of jealousy of a wife? No way. Thirdly, and most importantly, and most clearly in the Quran, when we find the story about him going to Mecca, he made dua for them, he made a place, and he went back there to Ismail alayhi salam and told him that Allah had guided me to this place. So it's not an accident. And fourthly, and this is the last and most importantly, when we look in Sahih Bukhari, hadith number 3364, when Ibrahim alayhi salam, he took Hajar alayhi salam with Ismail alayhi salam to what is Mecca today, a better land at the time. Hajar alayhi salam, when Ibrahim alayhi salam left them with a few days and a little bit of sustenance and started walking away, without saying a word, she asked him, Ya Ibrahim, أين تذهب؟ وتتركنا بهذا الوادي الذي ليس فيها إنس ولا شيء. Hajar alayhi salam, she asked Ibrahim alayhi salam, Oh Ibrahim, where are you going? Leaving us in this valley where there is no people and nothing. I mean, there's nobody to speak to, no people to live with, nothing to eat, nothing to farm, nothing to buy. There's nothing here. Where are you going? And she kept on asking this, miraran, in the hadith it says miraran, continuously, until she herself said, Allah alladhi amaraka bihada? Was it Allah that ordered you with this? What did Ibrahim alayhi salam say? Na'am. So this was because of jealousy of Sarah, he wouldn't surrender the order of Allah. And that's why that's an incorrect opinion. And the correct opinion is that Ibrahim alayhi salam was ordered by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to take Hajar alayhi salam and Ismail to the place that would then become Mecca, also called Mecca. This area, he was told to take them there because of the plan of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for Ismail alayhi salam and from that lineage Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam to be in that place. And that's why he told her down. And what did she tell her? She told them, then we have no need, Allah will not leave us. My sisters in Islam, listen to our mother Hajar, the mother of our Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Look at her tawakkul. When her husband is leaving her with nothing, she didn't say, what? You are not fulfilling your rights and you didn't leave us with this and you didn't leave us with that. No. She knew if it was the amr of Allah, if it was for the sake of Allah, Allah would not leave us. Did they starve? Did they die out? No. But for our brothers in Islam, also, as the ulama have mentioned, this was a direct wahi from Allah to Ibrahim alayhi salam. That doesn't mean you brothers should now take your wives and leave them in TJ and drive off or something. Don't misunderstand the Sharia either. Right? Like Aisha Radhiyallahu said that a husband should not be away from a wife more than 4 months. She set this limit. So don't our brothers try to make this an excuse here. Right? But our sisters should also take a lesson from this. Now, what happened next? As we know from the authentic hadith, Hajara alayhi salam, her food finished. And Ibrahim alayhi salam, subhanAllah, he goes away a little bit, and when they can't see them, he raises his hands to Allah. And this is sunnah to raise the hands. Except in certain places, like the hadith, you shouldn't raise the hands. Sahaba, they forbid this. But there are certain times when you should raise the hands, certain times when you shouldn't. But here, we see that Ibrahim alayhi salam, he raised his hands to Allah, and he made dua in a place that he was hidden. Crying to Allah, begging from Allah, making dua. And from the dua of Ibrahim alayhi salam, we still see the miracle today. Then, when Ibrahim alayhi salam left, and Hajara alayhi salam, she's running. She has no means, so she's just running back and forth in Safa and Marwa. She's running back and forth, and then she hears a noise. And she says, if there is somebody with some benefit, then come, let us know, let us talk. And then she sees Jibreel alayhi salam, and he is digging in the ground. One of the hadith mentioned with the tip of his wing. Another hadith mentioned with the tip of his toe. And he's digging in the ground. Some of the people, they used to say, Ismail salam was kicking, and from where he was kicking, the water came. This is incorrect. What is mentioned in the hadith is Jibreel alayhi salam actually came, and with either his wing or another narration with his toe, he dug into the ground and the water of Zamzam came. And in their language, because they didn't speak Arabic, Zam meant to stop, to hold, place something. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, in the Sahih hadith, he said, may Allah have mercy on Ismail, and on Hajara. When she saw this water, she was afraid that it would just, go into the sand. She started to hold it, she said, Zam, Zam. That's what she said, and that's why it's called Zamzam. And if she hadn't, this would have been a flowing river. Zamzam would have been a flowing river if she hadn't stopped it and made it into a well. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because of the tawakkul of Hajara alayhi salam, because of the dua of Ibrahim alayhi salam, because of the pious amal, he brought one of the greatest malaika, Jibreel alayhi salam, and dug from it a spring of Zamzam that till today we're drinking from. Each one of you that went for Umrah Hajj, you drank from it. From that blessing, you drank from it. And you that have drank from it, you know that the taste of it is different from anything else. The nourishment you feel from it is different from everything else. Some of the Sahaba, they would go and only drink Zamzam, and they would say we would gain weight. Because the Zamzam water is a blessed water. And so much that is pumped and bottled and sold around the world. And every Haji and every Mu'tamir, they go for Umrah and Hajj, they fill up gallons and they take them and it hasn't finished. Allah has blessed it in Mecca and Saudi, people drink it like water. And Allah has blessed such a blessed water that till today is flowing like that. From this Zamzam, she drank, and when she was there, a Bedouin people, Arab, Al-Arab. We mentioned the 3 types of Arab, right? This is the Musta'arab haven't begun yet. The Ba'ida are finished. Arab, Al-Arab. There was a tribe, Jurhum. Jurhum was a tribe from the Arab. And they were a tribe with great noble characteristics. They were originally from Yemen. And they were going, and they saw birds flocking. And they knew the desert. And they knew how to survive in the desert. So they knew that these birds wouldn't be there unless there was water. And they knew they've been past this area many a times and there's no water there. So they went to investigate. And this tribe of Bedouin, strong Arab men, and big caravan, they saw one woman with a little child. And they were thirsty, they needed water, so they approached her. And they said to her, can we have some from the water? And look at her tawakkul. Look at it. She didn't say, okay, go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry. No. She said, you can drink from it, but you have no right to it. And you will share your food with us, and we will share our water with you. Now these men could have easily killed her. There's no police, there's no cases, there's no fingerprinting. And just move that sword, they would have cut her head. child they could have killed or kept as a slave, and all the water would be theirs. But as I mentioned before, the Arab had good traits, they had good qualities, that's why istafa, the Prophet Allah chose from them. And that's why the tribe of Jurhum, they decided to agree to her terms. And they lived with her peacefully. And they saw Ismail alayhi salam to be a very pious young man. And they adopted him. And he learned Arabic from them. And from his generation can come Arab what? Musta'arib. From here came Al-Arab Al-Musta'arib. They became Arab by learning Arabic. And from that nasl, from that generation comes our Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Ibrahim alayhi salam, he didn't just leave his wife and child, but he went to visit them. Some of the narrations mentioned 4 times and others. When he went to visit Ismail alayhi salam one time, he found that he was not home. And when he went, he found he was an old man by this time. He went and he knocked the door, and the wife of Ismail, she answered. He asked for some water, she shared, and he just, as an old man, he asked her, how's life? How are things? So this woman said, it's very difficult. It's a very difficult life. It's a very hard life, husband, they didn't have any farming, they didn't have crops. What their ta'am is mentioned in the hadith, al-lahm wal-ma'. In the authentic Sahih hadith, Rasul said all they had was meat and water. No vegetables, no rice, no bread. Just meat and water. And today, any dietitian will tell you do a diet from this diet. You'll get a high cholesterol, heart attack. But Allah made it. And they live with just meat and water. But it's a rough life in the desert. No vegetation. Very difficult life. So she said it's a very difficult life. So he told her, okay, when your husband comes, give him my salam and tell him to change your doorstep. Al-Ataba باللغة العربية بابك. يعني the doorstep. This is the doorstep of the house. He said, change your doorstep. He said, okay. Ismail alayhi salam, when he came home, he asked her, how are things? He was out hunting. She told him, an old man came, a strange old man, and he said salam to you, and he said, change your doorstep. When you enter the house, the frame of the doorstep, when you enter. He said, this is my father, Ibrahim, and he has ordered me to divorce him. And he divorced him. And look at the rights of the father. Those of you sons sitting here, look at the rights of the father. He didn't say, what? Come on, man, I'm just going to leave somewhere. No. His father said it, he did it. He divorced him. And the people of Jurhum, they loved him so much, they married him to another one of their daughters. And he lived, Ibrahim alayhi salam, he came again. And once again, Ismail alayhi salam was out hunting. And he knocked, he asked for some water, and then he asked the woman, how's life? But this woman, mashallah, she was thankful. She had alhamdulillah, she said, our life is wonderful. Allah SWT has blessed with a lot of good. Even though she was living the exact same life. My sisters, pay attention to this. It's the same life. It's not like Ismail became rich and moved out and moved into a better neighborhood and got a new setup. No, same life. 2 different ways of thinking about it. She said, alhamdulillah, we have food, we have drink, we're fine, we're great. Ibrahim alayhi salam said, when he comes home, give him my salam and tell him, keep your door. Here, when Ismail alayhi salam came home, he asked her, how are things? He said, an old man came and he said this thing. He said, this is my father Ibrahim, and he has told me to keep it. And he kept that wife because she was thankful to Allah. Ibrahim alayhi salam, he came back again. And he saw Ismail alayhi salam. And the hadith are long, but they're beautiful. Inshallah, I hope from this short dars, you will go and research this yourself and read about it. When Ismail alayhi salam, he saw his father after all these years, he didn't say, where have you been, man? How come you don't take care of me and you don't send me money? You don't even write? How long you been gone trying to come up here and be my father? No, I don't even know you. No. He went to his father lovingly, hugged him, kissed him, and greeted him. And his father told him, Allah has ordered me with something. Will you obey me? He said, well, I will obey you, my father. Whatever you order, I'm ready. Look at Ismail alayhi salam, what a son. His father's been gone his whole life, but he's still that obedient and loving to his father. His father told him that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordered me to build his house here, the Kaaba. And Ismail alayhi salam and Ibrahim alayhi salam, they built the Kaaba. And what were they making dua when building? And after finishing, رَبَّنَا تَقَبَّلْ مِنَّا إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ سَمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ. SubhanAllah, in Surah Al-Baqarah, this is the dua of Ibrahim alayhi salam that's mentioned. They're doing this hard job, they're building the Kaaba, but they're making dua to Allah. Oh Allah, accept from us this deed. Verily you are the all-hearing and all-knowing. It's a sign for us when we do a good deed, don't get proud of it. Don't get kibber. Instead, make dua to Allah that Allah accepts your good deed. Because if you do a little, but it's accepted by Allah, it will be heavy in the scales of Rahman. But if you do a lot, but it's only for show, and it's not accepted, wallahi, it will weigh nothing in that scale. So we need to be always asking Allah to accept our dua. Here, Ibrahim alayhi salam and Ismail alayhi salam, they built the Kaaba. Now a question comes up. Who was the first one to build the Kaaba? And who built Masjid al-Aqsa? And there's a lot of khilaf of ulama. And after spending a lot of time researching all the aqwal, يعني قيل بعض العلماء بناهما يعني المسجد الحرم في مكة والأقصى آدم عليه السلام خلاف. وقيل بنى آدم عليه السلام مسجد الحرام وبنى بعض أبنائه مسجد الأقصى. وقال ابن الجوزي هذا الخطأ. والصحيح الأساس فيهما من آدم عليه السلام ولكن البنى الكعبة والأقصى إبراهيم عليه السلام. So what we know from the ulama, some of them said that both Masjid al-Haram in Mecca and Masjid al-Aqsa in Quds, may Allah free it. People have forgotten about even making dua for Aqsa. May Allah free it from the companions of pigs and monkeys. So this Masjid al-Aqsa was also built both by Adam alayhi salam. Other ulama, they said no, it was built, Al-Haram in Mecca was built by Adam alayhi salam, and Al-Aqsa was built by some of his children. But Ibn Jawzi, he says no. And he puts together a lot of rawayat, and Ibn Taymiyyah and Al-Qurtubi and Ibn Hajar all bring with the same opinion, which is that the foundation of the piety of this place was ordained in the time of Adam alayhi salam. Yani Mecca was made muqaddas, as pious in the time of Adam alayhi salam, as well as Al-Aqsa. But the first one to actually build there, a building was Ibrahim alayhi salam, as mentioned in the Quran, even though it was already a place of piety and worship from the time of Adam alayhi salam. And Masjid al-Aqsa was also first built by Ibrahim alayhi salam. Ibrahim alayhi salam built the Masjid al-Haram in Mecca and then went back to Sham and built Masjid al-Aqsa. And there's a hadith that points towards this. And this hadith is in Sahih al-Bukhari, hadith number 3366. قال أبو ذر الغفاري رضي الله عنه قلت يا رسول الله أي مسجد وضع في الأرض أول؟ فقال صلى الله عليه وسلم مسجد الحرام. فقلت ثم أي؟ فقال المسجد الأقصى. وقلت كم كان بينهما؟ فقال 40 سنة. This hadith is Sahih from Al-Bukhari, where Abu Dharr al-Ghafari radiallahu anhu, he asked the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam that what was the first masjid built on the earth? The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told him, the house of Allah in Mecca, Masjid al-Haram. Abu Dharr al-Ghafari said, what about after that? What is the second masjid? The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told him, Masjid al-Aqsa in Sham, in Quds. Then Abu Dharr asked him, how long was the period between that? The Prophet ﷺ told him, 40 years. Now, if some of the ulama they wrote that Masjid al-Haram in Mecca was built by Ibrahim alayhi salam, and then Masjid al-Aqsa was built by Yaqub, if this was true, it would be against this hadith. Why? Because Ibrahim alayhi salam, after him comes Ishaq. And after Ishaq grows up and becomes a man and marries, then Yaqub alayhi salam is born. And then when he's raised, it's not going to be 40 years. You see, this is contrary to the Sahih hadith. Instead, what we find some of the ulama then saying that it was built, Masjid al-Aqsa was built by Sulaiman alayhi salam. Subhanallah. Now from Ibrahim alayhi salam to Sulaiman alayhi salam, you have Ishaq, Yaqub, you have Yusuf, and then after Yusuf you have the migration of Bani Israel to Misr, then you have Musa alayhi salam coming out of Misr, then you have Dawood alayhi salam, then you have Sulaiman alayhi salam. You think that took 40 years? This is why many of the scholars are mistaken. What is correct? And Al-Qurtubi, Ibn Hajar, Ibn Taymiyyah, and Ibn Jawzi all agree to this opinion is that these places were made only in the time of Adam alayhi salam. But the first one to build them was Ibrahim alayhi salam, where he built Masjid al-Haram, and then he went, after he left Ismail alayhi salam, he came back to Ishaq, and him and Ishaq, they built Masjid al-Aqsa, and there was 40 years between that. Then they were rebuilt. Like the Haram in Mecca was rebuilt many times, including in the life of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then later many times. And Masjid al-Aqsa was rebuilt many times. And one of the times that was rebuilt by Yaqub alayhi salam, and one of the times after that by Sulaiman alayhi salam. These are the times they were rebuilt, but the initial place became pious at the time of Adam alayhi salam. The initial building was done in the life of Ibrahim alayhi salam. We see from this a great lesson. This place in Mecca, where the Kaaba is such a beautiful place, such a blessed place, with the dua of Ibrahim alayhi salam. It is the heart of every Muslim. And those of you that have been there, you know that when you go there, you only wish to go back to it every time. You only cry and dream to go back to it every time. When you taste that Zamzam, you only wish to drink it day and night. You only wish to go back to it, spend your life in it, because this is the place of the dua of Ibrahim. And those of you that have been to Aqsa, may Allah free it and let us all go there. As I have been there twice, I tell you, a beautiful love comes between Aqsa and the Mu'min. A ruh al-mubtah fil Aqsa. The soul is at peace in Al-Aqsa. It's a beautiful place. It's the place of Anbiya, where the Prophet ﷺ, he led the Muslims, all of the Anbiya who were Muslims in Salah. And we hope from Allah that the Muslims, we don't lose our attachment and our love for Al-Aqsa. And we know we can never lose our attachment to the Haram al-Mecca. And those of us that have not been blessed by going to Mecca, you need to go. You need to go, because you will taste the sweetness of Iman that you've never tasted anywhere else. And those of us that haven't been to Aqsa, may Allah take us all there as well. And we hope from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that these durus will also develop a love for us to learn more and research more about these. Inshallah, we will end here and pick up from after Ismail alayhi salam, in the lineage and life of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.